And we have something a bit more controversial. Or we have, I'll put it nicely for the camera. We give you the funding, we give you the network. If someone comes to you and says, we have everything for you, for all your crazy ideas, just join. Yeah, of course, you say yes.
There are a lot less people choose engineering or technology as their major. That's a huge problem, actually. You should really show again to the world like what it is to be an engineer and how important engineering is, because otherwise, what's going to be the future?
Hello, this is 7th episode, and thank you for coming. I'm Celina, we're a Google Developer Student Club, and you can briefly introduce yourself.
Okay. Thank you very much. We're here from KIVI. I am Celina van Beeck. I'm a building engineer, and I'm specialized in innovation and digitalization. In my daily life, I work at Volker Wessels, a very nice construction company, which is throughout the whole of the Netherlands. And in my free time, I'm actually a chairwoman of the youth department of KIVI, Young KIVI Engineers.
Yeah, okay. Hi guys, I'm Pim. I'm currently still a student in the TU Delft. I do the Master's Applied Physics. I graduate in 5 weeks, so it's a very exciting period right now. And I specialize in health and life sciences. And in my free time, I do rowing, cycling, and Delft, just like normal student things, I would say. And then I'm also at KIVI, I'm currently a chairman of the student board. So that's what keeps me busy.
Okay, nice. Yeah. And so you're both from KIVI. Yeah. Could you also briefly explain what KIVI is?
To of course.
Listeners.
Yeah. So KIVI is the association for all engineers in the Netherlands, so both Dutch engineers as well as international engineers. And we are actually divided into 52 different departments. So we have 38 disciplinary departments to think about, for example, building engineering or information technology and departments like those. We also have 12 regional departments, so they are most focused on the regions, for example, Limburg or Utrecht or regions like that. And of course, we also have 2 youth departments, one of Young KIVI Engineers for the young professionals below 36 years, and of course, Pim's department.
Yeah, so the student department, we have that as well. So that's really focused for students to connect them with our KIVI department and for them to explore within KIVI and become better engineers, I would say. And maybe if we can already start with a fun anecdote about KIVI. I think also what's important to realize is KIVI is an engineering society, but it already exists for 178 years. Celina, correct me if I'm wrong?
Yeah, it's from 1847.
Yeah, so it really has lots of history. So it's we're not just coming out the corner. So that's why there's a lot of fun stuff happening. So that's why we brought something for you guys today. Also it's as a joke, but it's more to highlight a bit the history that we have. So we have for you Haagse hopjes. I will show it to the camera. So Haagse hopjes is really to highlight that we come from The Hague. So our building is in The Hague. So we have a very nice big old building in front of the Malieveld. I don't know if you know where that is. So that's in the center of The Hague, close to the Parliament building. So that's where we are. And we have something a bit more controversial. Or we have I'll put it nicely for the camera. We have a Geneva bottle. And the story behind that is basically that what KIVI used to be in its early ages is it was a place for engineers at all levels just to come together in The Hague and just, drink some Geneva and talk about how things were going and discuss anything. It was really a low casual place for people to come together and from engineers of all levels to just relax, chill, and have some Geneva.
Okay. How much?
It's actually very fun because in the building it's still visible, the history, because in every room we have these cabinets. And there used to be bottles like this. So this is the Geneva, but we also had some cognacs and whiskeys going on. So it was really like after work, people gathered there and they did some crazy stuff actually for society. And it still is that way. I mean, we gather there during the day, also in the evenings, and we talk and share a lot about engineering together. And at KIVI, we are really the bridge between society and the engineers. So it's really interesting association.
Yeah, how much of this tradition do you still have now?
I know we have to be careful. Huh?
I have to say, I've never
Yeah,
seen your neighbor
not me
at
neither,
any
actually,
of our
no.
drinks, but of course a beer and a wine
Yeah.
is there. So we have drinks combined very often with our lectures or other conferences or whatsoever. Because it's a very great opportunity to network. I mean, nothing binds each other as to share a drink. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's really fun. So we really tend to do this a lot. Yeah.
Okay, cool. What brought you to skiing? What brought you to become like?
Should I start?
Sure.
Yeah.
How I started with KIVI is actually kind of fun, and it's also how I met Celina. So I was in the final year of my bachelor. I had finished my bachelor, and then I was doing a student team at the TU Delft, and I was responsible for the partnership and the outreach. And then I contacted Celina because for some collaboration, and then we had quite a nice collaboration. Everything went quite well for our project, and then Celina reached out to me like, "Hey, we're setting up." So we have a student board and we have all these activities, but we would like to have a national board which coordinates everything and which brings all these students from all these different universities and hogescholen together. And so then she asked me, which was already a great honor, and she said, okay, we give you the funding, we give you the network, and we give you fun activities, and you can basically decide anything, we will provide it to you. So joining KIVI for me was kind of like a no-brainer, because if someone comes to you and says, we have everything for you, for all your crazy ideas, just join. Yeah, of course, you say yes. So that's how I got within KIVI, and from that, like, the ball started rolling, and then,
For me, it was an honor too, because there were like, I think it was the two of you that we actually met in the building of KIVI, and these were such talented guys that were on my table all of a sudden. So for me, it was also very easy to say, let's do this, let's go for them, and let's invest in them. And it actually paid off. I mean, you did great things, and it has been a really great time.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's 3 years ago, and now,
It's been 3 years already. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Are you planning on moving up the KIVI chain?
I wouldn't say there's like some chain or something which is going on. It's what I see is like I joined KIVI for these ideas, and then of course the second step is like, why did I stay? So I think it's more of a why did I not leave after a year or after a few months, where I was like, okay, that's cool. And that's really, I think, for just really the cool, like, new experiences and new people I got to meet, which they have been crazy and have kept me going within KIVI. So I don't think there's a general drive in me to climb the ranks. I think it's just a nice way outside of my study to like explore people and explore things and meet people, just in general.
Cool stories. But what, for example, if you want to become a member, what KIVI can offer you as a member? You were talking a lot about like organizing stuff, but what about the other side?
This association has at this moment 15,000 members. So you get a great network. And we also have two other pillars. For us, it's very important that everybody has a good development in their knowledge, but also personal development is very important. So those are the three pillars that we work on at KIVI. So we do this, for example, by organizing some excursions to companies, projects throughout the whole of the Netherlands, but also abroad. We also have the study trips abroad. For example, there was a study trip going to Germany, France. So we also do this kind of things. And of course, we also have a lot of lectures. So in total, with all the departments together, we organize over 600 events every year.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. And besides that, we also have some very attracting discounts on courses or training. We also provide some free training, and every department has its own niche, which is also very important. You can join a specialized department and really enjoy their activities.
How many people are responsible for organizing events? Like 600 events a year?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I love that question, actually, because everything is organized really on voluntary basis. So everybody, for example, joins a board. So at KIVI we have those 52 departments, so we have 52 boards. And those 52 boards together organize all these kind of activities. We also have some working groups, right?
Yeah,
We also do some organizing, and we have also a bureau which organizes the KIVI conference. We have every year also a very huge KIVI conference. This year actually it was about engineering the future. So yeah, a lot of organizing going on, but it's mostly on a voluntary basis.
Yeah, and you said about study trip something, and yeah, we saw it today that you're doing like a trip to Hong Kong, right?
Oh really? I
don't know. That's the thing.
And, like, how do you join one of these study trips? Like,
Do you know which department it was?
Youth, I think it was from youth one.
Really?
But I'm not sure. Yeah, probably, yeah. It was just an intro event,
Yeah,
on September
okay.
6th.
Oh really? I would have to dug into that.
That sounds really cool.
If it's a KIVI event, you can just become member of KIVI, and
Yeah,
then
join.
you can join. I mean, it's as easy as that. Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Hong Kong sounds very cool.
Yeah, within KIVI, it's really like you make it yourself, right? Because there's so many events and so many things going on. So it's also a bit from your own initiative. That if you're interested in doing specific things, you can join and you can kind of like go after it yourself. But if you do that, like if you push yourself a bit, you can like actually achieve these really cool things. Like for example, I had a colleague and board member as well who was from Den Bosch, and he was like into electrical engineering, and he set up his own like a study association there because there weren't any there, and he just said like, oh, I want to know more about the electrical engineering field because there's no study association here, so I don't know what companies work. So he just reached out to the board of electrical engineers, and they're always happy to talk with students. That's the reality of things. And they helped him a lot, and they let him see everything was going on, and then he actively joined like their activities, and we did activities together with the students and the electrical engineers. So that's like a really like, you can of course join these events as well, that they're like quite low key, but if you want more out of it, you can like kind of if you take it, then you will get it. It's a bit the idea.
Okay. What advice would you give for a person? Because usually if you organize, for example, a lot of events or there are a lot of going on, you don't know what to pick. Like it's overwhelming how many things you can do.
Yeah.
Like what advice would you give for a person, for example, if he joins like KIVI or I don't know, other organization where they offer a lot of events, like where to look for something that you like? Maybe the main question is like how to find out what you like.
That's a great question. Yeah.
And maybe do you help with that as well? And as an organization?
I really like your question because it's really broad, so I'm going to grab this with both hands. When you really want to define what you're going to do as an activity, I think the most important is what do you want to do yourself? Like first ask the question to yourself. Very often you already have a kind of base into going. For example, you're from computer science, right? So it would be very useful to do something in the Department of Informatics, for example. For me, I joined the Department of Building Engineering. I think that makes sense as well, because since I'm a building engineer. So those are already like the first hunches you can work on. And of course, youth departments are very interested. So for example, if you're done with your studies, you can join Young KIVI engineers, or when you're a student, you can join activities from KIVI students. But if you really feel that you have to do something else, for example, for personal development or other things, we also have this great KIVI coaching possibility. So we have KIVI coaches who have been engineers in the past and also have been coaching at least 5 years. So they have really strict rules to become a KIVI coach. And they can really help you one-on-one on what your goal is going to be. So if you're not really sure, like, what am I going to do with KIVI and how can I make the most of it, they can really help you with that, actually.
Yeah, that sounds very cool, especially for after you finish like your degree and you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I did as well. Like I'm finishing in 5 months. So yeah, I reached out to the KIVI coaching, and then you just say what you want. So I said like, I'm doing physics and I don't know what to do with my life. So that's always a nice question. And then they just coupled me to a member of KIVI who was working within Philips also as an engineer who had actually studied here. And he helped me, he's still coaching with me. So it's a nice way to talk to someone who's already in the field and like can help you with things outside of like any type of company or other organizations. So it's a really nice way to figure your way out in the engineering world, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, so basically firstly define what you like in a way, maybe find something inside of you, and then like find a person who can help you, and that's what Kiwi provides.
Exactly, and it
Okay.
also helps to bring friends. I mean, the funnest thing is to bring friends and do things together. I mean, it's always fun to have to talk, and it's easier, right? But yeah, really feel into your heart and think about what you want to do next. Yeah.
Do you actually plan to expand to other countries, like as in with your organization, or it is already like, I don't know, in other like neighboring countries? Have you?
Yeah, actually,
thought about-
this is really fun because we are not expanding as KIVI because as far as I know, every country in Europe has its own engineering association. And I also think it's important to have it nationally since we have national laws, for example, that we can discuss. However, there is an organization, at least for the youth engineers. It's called European Young Engineers, and we as Young KIVI engineers are also part of European Young Engineers. So we have this bridges to international engineers, and of course international engineers are also part of KIVI, but within the Netherlands. So there are a lot of outlets internationally. So internally, in terms of international engineers are part of KIVI, and also internationally abroad, like in the form of European young engineers through young KIVI engineers. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Totally makes sense.
And also, so Kiwi to me, like when I first heard about it, sounds a bit like the IEEE organization.
Yeah.
Like, so are you doing like any collaborations with them or something like that?
Yeah, totally. We have a lot of collaborations with not only companies and society, but also with these kind of engineering associations, since they just have different focus on things. So, for example, the EEE, right, is more about engineering, or not engineering, but electricity, right? So we have also an electricity department. So it really fits. So they actually reach out to each other and organize things together. Yeah, I think that makes it very strong. That's also the whole use of being an association.
And is that association international or?
Yeah. So what I heard about them is like that they're by name they're like electronics and electrical engineers, but to me it seems like everyone can join those. It's a bit weird, but I think they also have on our campus something.
Okay, yeah. We focus on, not focus, we mentioned one problem that students face, as in how to find what you like in a way. But what other problems do you, like members of KIVI or maybe students face that the main ones that the KIVI can help, or basically?
Yeah, I mean, KIVI can help you, like, first of all, like, really broaden your network and also broaden your outlook on, like, what's happening in the engineering field, let's say, because especially here within your university, you're kind of like, I feel like quite quickly you get the idea of what's going on and who does what and what's where. But I think, and then you stay within like this student level or professors academia level. But within KIVI, you can really like, for example, I went to bowls, like drinks, and there you really get to sit with, just any type of senior engineers, and you can discuss anything. So it really gives you a better idea of what's going on, and it gives you very nice connections and people that have access to things which you don't have. So it's very nice, and it's a good way to explore that and also to use that a bit, I would say. So.
And I think it's for every student, it's always that challenge to find a very nice internship. And of course, looking out to a job. I mean, those kind of things are very important, right, as a student. But also, I think earlier on as well, like help, for example, like with your project, right, with the IJOM competition, like help in your competition or project that you're doing, or with your thesis. I mean, that's what the network is for. So if you really want inside information or cannot find information somewhere else, I mean, the internet has huge amount of information, but sometimes you really need that special something, or you need someone for an interview or anything. Or you need to do a survey. I mean, that's one of the biggest problems I think students face when they have to do a survey. try to find some candidates
Yeah.
for it. So I think this network can really help you with those kind of questions. And I think we also should address in this term something more serious. I think there's a lot of people burning out as well. And I mean, it's students, but it's more broad. I think everybody struggles with work-life balance at the moment. I think the corona crisis has a really huge impact on our lives and the way we feel. And I think, and I really love to believe that KIVI helped a lot of students, but also young engineers through that crisis by just being a network still. It was online, but still being that network and meeting online and just, being part of the conversation and just sharing struggles. I think that was very important as well.
Yeah, okay, makes totally sense.
Yeah. And the service part also is something. There's so much of like in all the university group chats, people just like asking you to fill out the survey and you get
Half of
like
the
5
messages.
responses.
Yeah.
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 So it's like it would be good to have a place where people like actually maybe fill out the survey.
Always nice.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
How do you attract like senior developers to come to your events?
You mean senior engineers?
Yeah, senior engineers. Or
I would say we have plenty of senior engineers. That's like the one thing I can say. Like it used to be so. Correct me if I'm wrong. That like most people back then, they used to become a member of KIVI anyway. If you were an engineer, there was really like the culture bit in the Netherlands, and that kind of stayed. So like on the senior level, we have no issue. Like it's more on the student level that students
okay.
They kind of forgot the idea of what such an association would mean to them and why it would be relevant. So that's more the issue that we have, is attracting students and doing funding for students. Like if I walk around at KIVI now, I would meet like all types of senior people that are just excited and waiting to do stuff with students. And so so senior engineers is really not an issue for us. Like really we want to attract students and do fun activities.
It's actually quite fun. I really want to introduce your story. We tend to forget what an association is for. I mean, we are very relaxed with the ideas that we are part of a tennis association or a soccer association or an association at our faculty. But once that's over, we totally forget what associations are for. I mean, you really have to dig back to the times that it was really fun and that you met a lot of people and that you shared with each other. But once that you're out of that loop of studying, you really tend to forget what associations are for. I think that's one of the biggest struggles in society as a whole. It's not only KIVI. I think more associations struggle with this. But I still feel associations are very important. I mean, I see it in myself as well. Your network is really growing. You really get out of that bubble, and you learn a lot of people. And actually, I've been like 3 weeks ago, for example, I've been invited to Germany via KIVI. I mean, this is the strength of KIVI. You really get to go to places that you really didn't think of. And all of a sudden, I was at the table with a lot of directors and eating dinner. It was quite high service, and I was like, how did I end up here? And it was really through KIVI. But also, for example, by finding your job or finding people that really have something that you would like to go to for a job. This is really the place where lines are very, very short.
yeah, cool.
Yeah, and I think through like our podcast, we also noticed that it's like if we invite like people that are like senior, like either like a CEO or like someone from TE. So it's like they really want to help and they easily come. So I think maybe it's like a Dutch thing, but I don't know. I think they're like very relaxed and they don't like see this as like a
burden.
Yeah, they want to help. So that's very cool, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I see as well. Like, if you like, people just want to work together with young people. Like, I can walk around there and, for example, one of the weird things that happened to me is someone was, okay, so we want to do this event and then we can invite our CEO and then we can get the CEO of another company and then we get some senior people, but we can't get students. Do you have students? That's the questions I get asked. So it's really like, they really want to like do stuff with young people. I think that's always fun. So I think really
That's so
really
like
part of it.
it's cool to hear like from the other side, because I would say we're also in a bubble. We live like we only mostly communicate with students, and they want to do a lot of stuff, but they sometimes don't know where to do them. So it's nice to hear that there are like seniors, developers, or engineers that would want to like help you. Actually, it's really cool. It's really cool. Okay.
But I think we're also in another bubble that we're also only talking like with engineers and not with other people doing other things. And maybe it's like an engineer thing, like at least for students to be a bit more like closed off and not as like social. That's why.
Totally right.
Yes, you're right.
We love to talk to other engineers. I totally agree. Yeah, we also talk a lot to other engineers.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
it's in
one of our
engineering
strengths.
society. Yeah.
We love to be with like-minded. I think every sector has like this thing, but yeah, engineers love to be with other engineers. Agree. Yeah.
And yeah, you mentioned that students just don't want to join association as much as they used to. Do you think that maybe one of the like reasons behind it is because just in general, like engineering became unattractive to young people? Because now I'm not sure, like I don't have exact numbers, but when we invite like senior CEO or like senior developer or senior engineer, I'm sorry, repeat again and again.
Really like the developers.
They usually tend to say that it became unattractive in a way to become an engineer. And do you think like the same? Do you maybe have numbers or?
Well,
that sense.
I agree. We see that there are a lot less people choose engineering or technology as their major. We already see that trend going on during high school. A lot less people choose mathematics or extra physics in their major. So that's a huge problem, actually, for society even more. And it's a shame. I think engineering has been too modest. I think engineering, because we only talk to other engineers, it has been too modest. What engineering is all about. People also tend to forget what engineering is all about. We are really like doers and explorers. We pave new ways when everybody is like, okay, this is the end. We find a new way. I think that's the most beautiful skill that engineers have. They always find a way somehow. And there's this huge trend that people are really thinking like, I really don't want to be stuck into these books, and I really don't want to learn anymore. I'm fed up with it. I really want to do stuff. But actually, being an engineer, I mean, look at how many facilities are here, right, in Eindhoven?
Yeah, exactly.
I studied here myself. I have been part of the faculty of building engineering here, and we have this huge place, right? This place where we make our models for architecture. And I think this is really showing that we as engineers are really doers and makers. So people need to remember that engineers are actually doers. So we need to talk about to more people that are engineers, so that this is really a fun industry.
Yeah, and this is like so weird for me because like, okay, so from the fun and perspective, and like it's also like you get to do a lot of stuff, but also it's like one of the best paid like the jobs like out there, right? It's so weird why more people don't choose engineering.
Yeah, and you do so cool things.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
what I see at KIVI is like the range. Like we say engineers, but you have people that build bridges, people that build boats, people that build superconducting machines and stuff. Like it's so broad, and you can do so many cool things. I think people should just really know that. If you do a bit of extra math, maybe you don't think about it like that, but you look, you can build this massive boat that goes all across the world, and you can be on it, and you can build crazy things. So I think if you highlight that, and that's something KIVI can also do, is really highlight the importance of that and the variety of things you can do.
Exactly. And you come to really strange places, actually, as an engineer. You really see like the back end of everything happening. You see every part of boats, strange places of buildings. I mean, you're there where new things are going to happen. You're really on the verge of future. I mean, who doesn't want to be part of the future? Like, for real.
You just have to show that. Like, funny that you mentioned Motoria, if I keep going. Like, we were once at KIVI invited for the opening of a ship of Van Oort. I don't know if you know, it's a big dredging company. And then they took us around and they really showed us the engine room and everything of like a big ship that was going to travel the world. And I think seeing that was like such an eye-opener to me, like, wow, this is so cool, like that, like the amount of engineering that goes into it and how it looks. Yeah. And then it was only shown to a group of like 5 people, I think, like, well, show this to the world, show everyone how cool it is, and then I think more people will get into engineering and see what it can do.
Exactly.
Do you?
I mean, how cool is it that you have this huge hobby? For example, for me, it's building engineering. For you, it's physics. For you, it's computer science, right?
Yeah.
You have this huge hobby that's grown into a major at some point, and that someone is paying you to do that. I mean, that's engineering, actually.
Creating
That's so
something
cool about
new.
engineering.
Yeah, and like even during your job, you're like building actually cool stuff that you might.
Impact society. Like, you're not, like, if for example you're building boats, so you can like impact so many people like that.
Yeah, especially if it like doesn't sink.
That always helps.
Or actually, I think you impact more if it sinks. Probably not the goal.
Yeah, that's cool. But do you have maybe any programs or like plans of going to high schools with KIVI and like actually promoting engineering in general, like how actually attractive it is?
Yeah, that's actually a great question because we really do think about these things. So yeah, we should be more visible as engineers as a whole, and I think KIVI would be the perfect institute to do this. So yeah, we're talking about it, but I still cannot say the like concrete plans. But yeah, we are talking about this.
Thoughts about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool.
so-
I think so. If someone would have come to our high school, probably more people would have chosen engineering in general.
Yeah.
But
I think from our high schools, everyone went to study medicine, but that's
Yeah,
like
as
a
well.
Lithuanian thing, I think. Like a lot of people go to medicine. So yeah.
We are visiting a lot of universities and universities of applied sciences, though.
Yeah.
So we just to give students more insight of what they can do further on with their studies. So we go to give them lectures, or we ask them for an excursion at some company from the person who's giving that lecture. So we are doing this to give students more insight on what the future could be. But yeah, high schools it's a good thing. We are really thinking about this, and even we are thinking about like small, even preschools. You know, I think it really starts there. There's I've actually read a study about it that because there are a lot of women in preschools and lower schools, right? It's hard for children to imagine what engineering is about, and women tend to be less attracted to engineering in general. I'm just saying in general, I'm not saying it's a rule, but in general, there's this trend, which also has the consequence that children have less engineering in their youth. So they don't get to know engineering, and so this is a trend that's going out actually from our youths to be older, and you really have to come in contact with someone who is in engineering. For me, it was my dad. He was also in computer science, so for me it was like when I was 6-year-old, he was like, okay, I have to go into inform or mathematics now with you, so you can become an engineer. So it was actually very, very easy for me. I'm not sure how it is with you.
I think it's kind of similar. My dad was also an engineer. Yeah, I don't know if that's how it goes.
Like that.
Yeah, but he built wind turbines, and he would then take me to his research department. I live in Brussels. I came from Brussels. He's from there, and then he would show me, and then I would think, oh my god, this is so cool. So for me, it was like hardly ever a question to not do engineering. I just knew like, oh, what type of engineering am I gonna do? Because it was just so cool. But I think if you don't have that, then it's maybe less evident or something to go do it. So yeah.
Cool. How did you end up?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think either of my parents has anything to do with engineering, so I don't know.
Just like math?
No. What I don't like is math, but somehow I still ended up with computer science.
Nice.
But I think I underestimated the amount of math involved. But still, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was mainly, I would say, maths. Like my father was doing something with automotive, like engineering, but not specifically like he was going from one place to another. But yeah, just like maths, I didn't want to study maths because like it seemed too theoretical. I thought, why not computer science and engineering? So that's how I ended up in here. Yeah. Pretty similar stories. I would say. Yeah, but another, maybe we're switching a lot of between topics now, but how, like, you're mostly like based in the Netherlands, like it's Dutch association. How do you try to attract international students who don't speak Dutch to KIVI?
Yeah, I think what's funny there actually is what I realized. So, for example, beginning of this year, I was here at the Open Days at the TU Eindhoven to promote KIVI. And if I just then look at the students that came up to us, I think it was actually mostly international students. I don't know why. Please explain it to me. But I think what it had to do is that they're new in a country and they're still looking for something. So they more quickly go up and look for new stuff. Whilst I think Dutch people are like kind of stuck maybe in their specific associations where they're at, and they look less around at such an introduction day. So I think, we attract actually a lot of international students in that sense. And of course, then you have to maintain them and work with them. And for example, we have two international board members as well, and they work on it. They can, like, from their own perspective, see what people want and what people need. So I think we're trying to incorporate that. We're really trying to work on that. So yeah,
That's cool.
I think we.
And recently in the Netherlands, there has been like a huge topic of discussion about like these international students and like the English programs that the universities have. And like, so from what I saw, it's like a lot of universities, they like were asked to decrease amount of English programs, but like specifically for TE, so because it's like mostly in engineering, and so they were like fighting like quite hard to keep the English programs, because, and what we got in a previous episode that we did with the secretary of the TE is that for engineering they really need the internationals here. So yeah, that was like interesting to hear, because he said that like not a lot of Dutch people choose engineering, like very little actually of that, and like the English programs, they help bring a lot of engineers here.
Yeah, I actually agree. We see this trend. I mean, there are a lot less Dutch engineering students, and at this moment, it's that critical that we even need foreign students to just maintain our industry as it is. I mean, that's really where Holland stands now. It's critical. We really want to be innovative and be the first and the best, and I think we still do. I really believe that. But that also means that we still need new people to do the work. So we need new engineers, and I think at one side it's very important to have Dutch engineers, new engineers, and student engineers, and I think it's very important as well to have also this contact already as a student with international engineers. For me, I had with the faculty of here was very nice, because we had this Erasmus program, which attracted people from around the world. I mean, we have people from South Africa, Malaysia, and it was really nice to also meet people from that programs. And it also gets you in contact with their culture and their way of working, and also their engineering knowledge. So I think it's important. But for Holland, for now, it's really critical. I think we have, as KIVI, we should really show again to the world like what it is to be an engineer and how important engineering is, because otherwise, what's going to be the future of engineers and engineering companies in the Netherlands?
In general, about our future, because engineers build future, so
exactly.
there are no engineers, no future, guys.
Yeah, agree.
So yeah.
And I think also, I also think that English programs in general are also very developing for Dutch people. I mean, you need also to learn English words of your own engineering industry.
Yeah.
If you want to go international, it's very useful to know some English language from your own industry. So I think it's also in that term, besides international students, also for Dutch students, very important to know something about engineering in English.
Yeah, but also like from another perspective, so since you're both Dutch, right? When you're looking to do your bachelor's, right, or master's, like, is there a choice for you to do like a program in Dutch, and like, are you like forced to do it in English because they make it that only the English programs exist now, or is that a choice?
I think in Delft, actually, like most bachelors are still in Dutch. There's a few bachelors which are in English. But yeah, I think I would say that as a Dutch person, it's actually quite nice to already early on know all the engineering terms in English, and you're able to communicate in English, because in the engineering field, in the end, I believe that's what you need anyway. And you could also say that it's, as a Dutch guy, quite a luxury, because I can live in the Netherlands, I can go to a Dutch university, but I can experience this international culture, work with professors from the highest level from all over the world. So I would in a sense say that's actually quite nice. And yeah.
Do you think that, for example, like a high schooler that wants to choose Dutch high schooler that wants to choose a major, if he sees like a Dutch or English, like English seems unattractive to him, or you think that like English is even more attractive than the Dutch program?
Personally, I was really attracted by a program, and then I realized it was going to be in English.
Okay.
So for me, it really didn't play a role. I think they also provide like options if you're struggling with English to work a bit on your English, or you can do your thesis in Dutch in the bachelor at least. So I think for me at least, there was not too much of an issue. I think, yeah.
Yeah, same. I also think that Dutch people are quite well in English.
Yeah, very well.
They're
Very
okay.
well.
That helps as well. I think it's mandatory to do English in school, so I think that helps as well. I actually had the other way around, that people they were switching to masters were like cursing that they didn't had English before, because they now had to switch to English. So you have those students as well. And it also gives you a lot of opportunities to also get people from around the world in your program. Like, think about guest lecturers or guest lecturers. I mean, if you're not an English program, it's very hard to have those people on your program. So also in terms of that, is very important to have an international factor, and also, again, see those cultures in engineering abroad.
Yeah.
It really develop you.
It also attracted me a bit to come, because I originally come from Belgium, so
International.
Are you like a Belgian, or are you like were you like a Dutch person living
it's
in
a
Belgium?
very hard question, but if we get into that, I don't know. Like, I'm Dutch, but I lived in Belgium my whole life, so I'm a semi. You can call me Dutchman, and I won't complain about that. No, but for me, it was really like I could choose between staying in Belgium or going to the Netherlands. And then, so of course, the program attracted me here in Delft, really the technical schools. We don't have that in Belgium. But also the fact that it would be so international, that you have like people from all over the world going to Delft. I thought that was so cool. Like, I want to go there. That's where like the cool stuff is happening. There you have the cool teams. People from all over the world travel all the way to Delft just to study. So I thought, okay, that's where I have to be. So it also helped me a bit to go and make that step to go actually study in the Netherlands and in Delft and specifically, yeah.
Yeah, totally makes sense. But yeah, Delft, I think now specifically, for example, I don't know about other majors, but for computer science, they now switch that half of the people have to be Dutch. Like, no matter, like, you do an entry test, and even if you score higher as international, but Dutch, but like not... But there is a threshold basically that 50% of the students have to be Dutch. So even Dutch person scores lower, but he's like according to Dutch like standards, is higher than he gets in, which is also quite, I don't know, from our perspective, quite sad.
But it kind of makes sense also. I mean, it's Netherlands, not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I really don't know why things are like they are.
Yeah, I mean, we're not politicians.
We're not.
I don't know, but
So I'm
yeah.
not sure why it is that way, but I think to have something where there's a part of a whole studies in English, I think is very developing for both internationals as Dutch students.
Yeah, and yeah, like if not bachelor, then masters are almost all in English. So
Yeah,
Exactly,
I
and
think it's
we should really not forget that the language for now for research is still English. So at some point you're going to have to do some research
Yeah.
in English and also read the research in English. So at some point you need to have some contact with English as well. So I'm not sure if it matters, but yeah, I think it's developing for students.
yeah. You mentioned research. Yeah, the other question that students have when they're finishing masters mostly. The difference between research and industry, like how to choose, like how to actually know what you're made for in a way. And yeah, what is the difference?
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, like, I don't know yet, of course, because I've just been in academia the whole day time. But yeah, I think like from KIVI, if I bring it back to that, like I feel a bit also both worlds in a way. Like KIVI has allowed me to, of course, like meet these people from industry and also actually meet young people from industry. Like, for example, I met Celina through KIVI. I would have not met you otherwise. And like, you're currently a young engineer working in a company. So like, like the research group I'm currently, like, I can ask PhD students what's going on. I kind of feel like I have a good idea of what their day-to-day tasks are and what they are working on. But through KIVI, I also met people like Celina, but also people from other big companies that come there. And you get a good idea of like, in a non-formal setting, like I think I've met most of the young engineer people at a bowling in Utrecht. So there, yeah, you can just talk on a very like casual level, like what you do on engineering level, what's the things that you did, like why did you make these choices? I think I met, for example, someone which stayed with me was a girl from Young Dame. And I had a talk with her, and she discussed all the things she did and why she didn't go into research, and then what steps she made in industry to arrive to the position she had in Dame. And I think like those choices, yeah, because it's quite different, the two worlds. But so it's an interesting way, and I feel like now I have a better idea of how that might look. So yeah.
So basically, your
helps.
advice is just network, ask like from
Yeah.
both worlds, like how people live and how their daily lives look, and then like try to figure it out yourself what you like more.
Yeah, just ask people. It's the
Exactly.
yeah.
Ask people. Yeah. Try to find that conversation and also try to develop yourself. I think it's very important to know what you are capable of and also what your wishes are. And the second part, like knowing what your wishes are, is actually very often the hardest part because sometimes it switches. Sometimes you have a sunny day, sometimes a rainy day, and then wishes tend to change. And I think something like having a coach, or it can be a KIVI coach, for example, it can really help you to define what's like your long-term wish. What's the wish that keeps coming back, and it can really help you determine your choice. And yeah, conversations with other people and really asking them, like in Dutch we say, the hemd van het lijf, so the shirt of their body, is really important. So just, the inside information then. So you know how it is at a company and you know how it is like following a career in academia. Yeah, there's huge differences.
Yeah.
I really felt when you said like there are rainy days and sunny days, especially when you're finishing bachelors, when you talk with all the students, they don't know what to do. Everyone's like, go to the industry masters, like where? So, every like 5 minutes, if you ask the same person, he has a different opinion about what he's going to do, like not in the future, but tomorrow.
Yeah, well, we actually have a program now for that. So I think it's very normal for young people to switch every day with their wishes and their wants. I don't think it's also a huge problem. At some point, you're gonna have to make choices. We make choices throughout our whole lives. So, for example, in high school, we have to choose one way or another. Like, am I going to do into technology or more into cultural society subjects? That's like your first, and then you have to choose what study you're going to do. And then during your studies, you think, okay, this is becoming really real. At some point, I have to go to work or something. And I think KIVI has nice programs to help you develop these kind of things. So we have a growth program where together coaches and prefer tool really helps you to define what your talents are. So the prefer tool helps you as a student to define whether you're more of a process thinker, for example, or really creative thinker, or more into customer success. So that really helps you define what is your field. And from there, a coach can help you with defining your personal development program. So first of all, like, how do you do this? Like, how do you make a personal development program? That's like question number one. So we have a coach that can help you with that. And then together with the outcome of the tests and also some supporting questions, you get this whole plan that you can really follow. And you also, I think, it's very natural for humankind to have struggles following that plan. I mean, we all have great plans, right? And at some point we have to follow them. So we also have a talent program that really helps you to follow your plan that you made with the coach. So it has a couple of gatherings throughout 1 year. It's a 1 year project. And during the program, you have several gatherings, and you really have this buddy program to keep your buddy in check. You know, like, have you done everything according to plan? Yes or no? So the coach can also help you get back on track. Like, okay, this was fun year, fun quarter, but let's get back to the plan and let's stick to the plan. So, yeah, we have this developed now for students and for young engineers. And it actually goes seamlessly into this program that's international certification. I'm not sure if you know it, but it's Chartered Engineering. No?
No.
It's an international certification that really shows that you're a great engineer. Like, we have this in health as well. So if you want to become a doctor, you really have to keep in check with your capabilities as a doctor, right? And the same goes for engineering. If you want to keep being a good engineer, you need to keep updating yourself on knowledge and everything. And for this, there's a certification. It's called Incorporated Engineer or Chartered Engineering. And these programs are actually like helping you getting to that point. So the way of thinking to keep yourself in development is in line with how Chartered Engineering does this. So you can really follow that track, because before you can become a chartered engineer, before you even can apply, you need 5 years of working experience. So you need some time to do, but it will be very, very sorry if you really don't start developing right after your studies or during your studies, right? So we have this to help you guide with this program. Yeah.
Cool, a lot of opportunities. We didn't know. Yeah, I think it's like there are so many opportunities and people like don't know about that. So I think
Just need to tell the people.
Yeah.
Because
Agree. Yeah.
there is no perfect knowledge in the world. I think, I before coming computer science also was considering doing economics, and in economics, when you write certain essays, you usually assume that there's a perfect knowledge in the world, that consumers know everything and producers, but that's the problem that I need to solve also. But maybe I didn't dive much deeper, so maybe it switches like in the university. So yeah. But yeah, we also can find parallel between Dutch weather and the student minds when they're finishing something. And yeah, what do you think about like this? Switching.
What sense?
This I mean, like when you're finishing something.
Okay.
And you.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, what my strategy has been a bit to like find what you want to do, and of course, like you will always consider everything like. If my friends hear this podcast now and they hear what I'm saying now, they were like, oh, a year ago you were telling on different things, right? You were going to do a PhD somewhere in another country, and now all of a sudden you're going in industry. Okay, I didn't know that, but now I know. But no, like my strategy has been with this, like, because thanks to KIVI, I got this opportunity of like meeting people at all different like points in their career as engineers. And I think what I've done every time is like, if I saw someone who was doing something cool, I was like, okay, if I want to do that cool thing as well, what should I do? Like I saw my professors doing cool things, like, oh, okay, maybe if I do a PhD, then I will get that. But yeah, like I would, for example, I had the opportunity through KIVI to also meet with the president of Shell, and she was very nice. It was like a kind of the same setting as this. We were with 5 students and her, and then we had this talk more not about the company but just about her experience, like from a student and how she did everything. And like these experiences, I think, were like very valuable to me. Like, for example, I saw, so in the first year where I joined KIVI, we organized a competition, and we called Energy in the Future. And to promote that, we went to all these types of events. And so one of them was a event focused on decommissioning of offshore wind turbines, because we were working with wind turbines. And then I met a guy from TNO, it's the Dutch Research Association in the Netherlands. And he was doing all these cool things on making the wind turbines renewable. And he was really reaching out to all the people from the companies, and he was doing all these things. And I remember talking to him, I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like, what did you do? And he didn't do a PhD, but he just worked at TNO. And like these experiences like make me now also consider like, oh, maybe I want to work for TNO in like a more focused research and not only in academia. Like I think these experiences and like talking to these different people helps you, because you can also talk to people who are thinking like, oh, I really don't want to do what you do. Like, I've had these experiences. Well, there, I won't give the examples, but like, then you also know, right? If you know, like, oh, what you're doing, that's not what I'm super interested in. So that's not what I want to do. So I think that's what really helped me. And that's like the decisions I make now are based like on these experiences. But also I have the feeling that like, especially what I see now through young engineers, like if you do something and you really don't like it, then you can always switch. Like it's not super binding, I would say. So don't worry too much. You can still develop in other ways. Your job doesn't describe who you are.
Just go with the flow.
Yeah, that's also good.
Good.
Flip a coin for every decision.
But then flip it every 5 minutes, because
best of 3.
of course the answers. This answers all your questions.
Yeah.
But how did you decide to go into industry? I mean, you studied for a long, I think. So you finished your master's as well.
Yeah.
Why did you choose to do a PhD there?
Well, it's a good question. I thought about it, not doing a PhD, but a PDN. We also have that at Eindhoven University of Technology. I thought about it, but it actually was so close to being just part of the industry that I eventually thought about joining the industry. At that moment, there wasn't a really interesting assignment that I really wanted to, engage in. So I thought I'm just going to start in the industry, and I'll see. It's like Pim said, it just starts somewhere. It's also never too late to start with academia as well. So I thought, well, if it's not going to work out, then I'm again going to try to find something in academia. But for now, I really loved being in the industry. I love having the challenge of finding your way. Also some politics, of course, on the working floor. But it's always interesting to really have your own idea and fight for it. I really like that part of being part of the industry. So yeah, for me, working in a company was a good move.
So it also depends on the situation, I guess. About choosing what to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and there, you also have to find like what is speaking to you. I mean, sometimes it's an assignment in industry that's really speaking to you, and sometimes it's an assignment in academia that's speaking to you. I'm not even sure if you always have to define whether it's in academia or a company, but something like the assignment or the project can be so interesting that you really want to dive into it, no matter whether it's a company or a university.
Yeah. Or you can also think of a project yourself in a way.
Yeah, and you can also
then
start a
do
startup.
it. Yeah, start a startup. Yeah, do entrepreneurship yourself if there's no in the industry.
Yeah, so everything is possible. I think it's more about the challenge and what you really want to go for and what you believe in. Yeah.
Yeah, just don't be afraid of challenges.
No, never. Challenge is good.
Yeah, don't make it too comfortable for yourself. Then it also stays a bit boring, right? You have to do new things and see new things. It's always exciting. Like making a podcast.
That was our new thing.
Connecting with people, I think, is the most still important thing.
Yeah.
People are very valuable. I think that's what you will realize as well. Like, if you just meet new people, you can like you get things done which you didn't expect, right? And you can see new things. So I think that's really, you shouldn't underestimate it. And especially within engineering, it's very easy to like, because like my thesis, I just look at a microscope for 9 months. So like I could just do that the whole time. But I think you learn also much more from talking to people. And it could just be your professors, right? Just talk with them, like what convinced them, like why are they doing their things? Like you don't immediately have to go all the way to The Hague and like knock on Mark Rutte's door, right? Like, yeah, just ask around and talk to people, I would say.
Yeah, we still live in society, and you know, I mean, yeah, you might like to build like a boat, but at the end, you have to like build boats for people. So you know, people have preferences, so you need to talk to them to actually know the preferences. How to build.
Yeah. Okay. So switching the topic a bit, I think throughout this like episode we talked a lot about engineering as like this one thing, right? But engineering is like a lot of different branches and disciplines. So do you like because you're part of like a big association for engineers, do you feel like there is some competition between these branches? And also on the same topic, a very serious question: which branch is the best?
Building engineering, of course. Shotgun. Yeah, of course there's competition. I mean, engineers are still kids. I mean, when you are, you're still a kid. Yeah, there's competition. Actually, it was very fun because during the KIVI conference this year, we also actually really started this competition by just making this huge whiteboard and putting all the disciplines on there and just and asking the question, which engineering discipline is the best? So this is actually quite fun.
Yeah.
What came out?
Well, I think the mechanicals won, but I think that's just by number. That's not
There's too many.
I had 3 at physics, but it didn't work. That's too bad. Yeah.
I think it was just a coin flip.
And when you look at society, I think every engineer is needed for now. So yeah, don't let it stop you. I don't think there's a wrong choice. The fun thing about engineering is that every engineer starts with exactly the same subjects, right? We all sit in the same calculus class. We all sit in the same mechanical class. So I think that's like the most beautiful thing about engineering, that you all have the same language. And at this point, you really have the specialization in, for example, building engineering or computer science or physics. But you always have the same basic layer. So even if you think in a further part, further on, that you really need to switch to another engineering discipline, for example, to building engineering, then this is possible from every engineering degree you have. I think that's the most beautiful part of being an engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I think we're like all from what I've noticed is that the engineers together they might like argue about which one is better, but we all know that engineering is better than social science.
Engineering.
It's a fact. Yeah.
The best major out there, engineering in general. Yeah. So yeah, I think our questions topics are coming to an end. Yeah, probably. Do you have any questions for us? Maybe from.
Yeah. What do you struggle with as a student, as an engineering student? I would say.
Yeah, so I think we talked a bit about when we had the meeting. I mean the video call, but yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunities that students don't see, and a lot of jobs that they exist, but as a student you don't know that you could get like a job in high-tech campus, for example. So yeah, I think like, just making that thing like more well known among students should really like be done by someone.
I think it depends on the like layers in a way. Firstly, you have the question where to work, like what do you like in a way. If you figure that out, like where to find job or specific problem that you would like to solve in a way, the company, And yeah, that's what I see now, especially when you're finishing bachelor, students struggle with a lot. But Paul had mentioned that already. Yeah, and I think that's it. Maybe like just in general, like finding your community.
Yeah.
That's also, but it depends. I mean, it all depends on the day. If it's rainy day, you think that there's no community around you. But if it's sunny, then everything is fine. So, yeah, I think main free.
I think like in the end you should just also try things, right? Like for me it started a bit that like I never had thought like when I came to the Netherlands that I'll join KIVI, like I didn't know it was a thing, right? I started with like doing some committees at the local students association, and then I thought, oh, okay, like I did physics, so I was like, that's quite intense, right? A lot of like the theoretical stuff in the bachelor. So at the end of my bachelor, I was kind of lost. Like I was like, oh, I want to do something else, but not more physics, because that was also an option. I was like, okay, maybe do something fine. So then I like looked around, and the first thing I saw was like a student team, which is like a super cool way to like apply your knowledge and work a bit. But through that student team, I then also got into contact with lots of things, like for example Celina, but also like companies, organizations, because we work, for example, with the WHO, and it's like it's the way. And then the ball started rolling for me a bit, right? So then you get opportunities, and that don't feel so comfortable, and sometimes you think, oh, this is super cool. So I think in a way sometimes things also just happen, but if you just do things are active besides your studies, I think a lot of opportunities open. So just like, and it can start small, right? Like I started organizing a party for 40 people. I did it for a full year, my second year of the bachelor, and so suddenly all of a sudden, so then it was really like I remember we were standing at like the local bakery to ask for sponsorship, and they said no to when I asked them for 50 euros. And I didn't expect that 2 years later I would be like making calls to shipping companies asking for 20 times that, and they would be like, oh yeah, that's cool, they want to do this, right? So I feel like sometimes you also don't know, like there's so much out there, but you kind of just have to find your vibe and just keep doing stuff, not just studying. I would say that, like, explore yourself, explore your soft skills, do what you like, I would say. And I like doing things besides my study, so then I just kept doing that, and it gave me here. I don't know how, but it gave me.
Just snowballed.
Yeah, exactly. So it's no.
And I think it's also very important to define what you want to do in your free time. So not only think about what you're going to do for studies or for work, but I think it's also very important, like, how do you want to divide your free time? So actually at Young KIVI Engineers, we have this portfolio management role. And there are very ambitious engineers that really want to dedicate their some free time, to become even better engineers. So they are really becoming experts in their field, and even digging into the material in their free time. And it's very nice because they, for example, share some things like interesting training or interesting events, but also very important information about their field of expertise with our KIVI community, young KIVI community. And at the same time, they get the acknowledgement for it, that they are the expert that wrote it and that found it. And I think this is also very important to find, your mojo in your free time. Like, what do you want to do? Are you more a consumer in your free time of more of engineering stuff, or do you really want to be active, like Pim said, and really become part of this network? I think it's also important to know your position in your free time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I think we also have one question for each of you. I think this is like our tradition for what we do on our episodes, but yeah. So please describe what is like the perfect, most productive day that you could have in your life. Like, what would it look like?
Yeah, from when you wake up till you go to bed, in a way.
Yeah, that's hard. Yeah, I always start with my morning run at 7, because I do that nearly never. So that's I would love to start like that.
Perfect.
And I think, like, in the end, I'm still like a physicist engineer. So I think really like in my current life now, like really do like some reading on what's happening in the field I'm working in, and then maybe respond to some emails or something. And I think then like I like the outreach, all these things. So then like have an afternoon in which I meet new people, and that's been my thing the whole time now. But then like, and do stuff and give presentations and like experience cool things. I think I always get energy from that. So that during my day, but then still within like my technical field. And then maybe still another run if I vary. And then like in the evening, just like some fun activity, like with friends. I think it's also really important. Just do fun stuff, like besides like all the career stuff. We should just have like a nice run day of sports, engineering, networking, and then fun stuff. You know, some ketel at the end.
Yeah, like quite similar actually. Apart from the run though.
Oh, okay.
I really my perfect day would be just having learned something, done a lot, but also like you said, like meeting and reaching out and explore. I think that's also a very important part. Like trying, maybe also failing would be nice to have in a day, because I feel that we learn a lot by failing. So I think that would be really nice to have this day, like doing a lot of stuff and then feel somewhere and then learn from it. And in the evenings I would love to do some sports. I tennis in my free time, and also meet up with friends. And I tend to also to be with engineers a lot, to be with some like-minded people. It would be really nice to end the day with some drinking. Yeah.
I was also waiting for the DJing part in the evening.
So it would be nice to have all those elements there. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the end of the episode.
Yeah, do you have
some
any
closing
additions?
thoughts?
Closing thoughts?
Yeah, I think I can only just advise everybody to be part of our network. It would be really fun to meet everybody. So thank you so much for letting us here and inviting us here. It would be really fun to meet all of you. I really want to add just like KIVI is there for you to expand your world and really get you inspired and get that great network to really find your dot on the horizon. So I can only advise everybody to be part of KIVI.
Yeah, and how do you join KIVI? Like now, the quickest way to join.
Yeah, so the only thing you have to do is go to kivi.nl.
Yeah.
KIVI.nl, and there find the membership button.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can always reach out to our socials, Instagram, LinkedIn. If you just send a message there, if you really don't know, then you'll get me or someone else who then looks at it and can help you through everything.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So
Thank you again for coming.
Yeah, no
Thank you
worries.
for sharing your experience in a way.
It was great fun being here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.